Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. Super Rugby Pacific 2023 is here, and unfortunately, it's raining. First game of the season. It's in Christchurch, and for some reason, someone decided it would be a good idea to have it on a rainy Saturday. But hopefully, in fact, it's Friday. That's how much I know, innit? It looks like a decent enough crowd for the rainy conditions for this opening matchup. A rematch of Super Rugby Aotearoa's final between the Crusaders and the Chiefs should always be entertaining, and I cannot wait to see who gets the better of this one. Looking through at this Crusaders starting lineup, they will be as follows: Joe Moody, Cody Taylor, and Fletcher Newell. They will be the front row for this matchup. For the home side, Scott Barrett at 4, Mitchell Dunshea 5, so no Sam Whitelock in the locking duo, something that the Crusaders may have quite a bit throughout this Super Rugby Pacific season. And how they adjust, we will have to wait and see. Ethan Blackadder, though, I am so happy to see this man back. I just hope he can avoid injuries going into that 2023 Rugby World Cup in France, because I think number 6 for the All Blacks is a spot that's definitely up for grabs, and Ethan Blackadder might just be able to fill that role. Tom Christie at 7, the tackling machine, and Cullen Grace also returning from injury. He will be there at number 8. Mitch Drummond and Richie Moonga making up the midfield combo, or in fact, sorry, the 9-10. Then in the midfield, Jack Goodhue at 12 and Braden Enor at number 13. Lester Whainānuku out on one wing, Sever Reese on the right, and David Havili slots in as fullback. A little bit different. I think they said he was reluctant to go to fullback, but with no Will Jordan, made sense that Havili would slot into that position. Looking through at the Chiefs starting lineup, Aidan Ross, Samasoni Taukiaho, and George Dyer, the front row, Brodie Retallick, and Tupavai, a combination that we could see at international level for the All Blacks heading forward, perhaps. Big Brodie, number 4. Even in preseason, the man was running meters for fun, and he'll hope to do the same here. Peter Gustowick at number 6. He can slot in pretty much anywhere from 4 upwards up to number 8. They've decided to put him at 6 for this matchup. Sam Cane, 7, very experienced. Big question on his head in terms of whether or not he has got a spot in France. And then Luke Jacobson slotting in as number 8. Then the 19 combo, Brad Weber, Damian McKenzie, a very good combination for the Chiefs. McKenzie does seem like he's going to be slotting in more as the fly half role for the Chiefs this year rather than fullback. But they do have Stevenson for this game. Anton Leonard Brown, at 12. Alex Nankerville signed by Munster for next season, but they want to have a good send-off for the Chiefs here. Tino Nanasatoro, the quick stepper on one wing. Solomon Alai Marlow coming from the Highlanders, excited to see what he can do in Chiefs colours. And Sean Stevenson, like I mentioned, a player who's always extremely unlucky to miss out on international level. He plays a lot for the Māori All Blacks, always shines. Hasn't quite got that black jersey for the ABs yet. Perhaps could be around the corner, but we have got Pads Ablaze in the chat. Also, Tian, Harry, Gareth's here, Ed's here. Hope you guys are all excited for Super Rugby. Do let me know your score predictions for this matchup in the chat as well. Looking through at the benches, the impact players, Brodie McAllister, George Bauer, and Tamaiti Williams easily could be the 3 starting this match for the Crusaders. Zach Gallagher at 19, Christian Leo Willie coming from the Highlanders as well. A lot of experience at 21 with Willie Hines, Fergus Burke, and Macca Springer, the youngster. He played well for Tasman. It's going to be good. See what he does off the bench. And the big question is, where are they going to put him? Are they going to put him at fullback, maybe out on one of the wings, or even could slot in at that number 13 jersey? Looking at the Chiefs, they've got Ollie Norris at 16. I believe it's supposed to be Bradley Slater, though, who would normally be the replacement hooker. John Ryan, the Irishman, making his debut for the Chiefs in this matchup. Ngata Akoi, Samapeni Finau, Cortez Ratama, Joshuani, the replacement fly half / fullback, and Ramika Poihipi, the last man for the Chiefs as well. About time for Rugby 2023, says Ed. Yeah, we've been waiting a while for Super Rugby Pacific, and unfortunately it's on a weekend that has so much rugby. We've got this matchup. We've got the other 6 matchups for Super Rugby. The Six Nations is still in effect. The LA Sevens going to be taking place as well. The URC have got a couple catch-up games that they're getting through. I think I'm going to be very tired by the end of this weekend, but should be a lot of exciting rugby to watch. Anyone know how to watch in Australia? Stan Sport, your best bet. And I'll go for anyone playing the Crusaders. Go the Chiefs, says Tony there. That's the thing. This Chiefs side, if it was played in Waikato, I think they'd have a real crack. Normally, that playing the Crusaders in Christchurch makes it that little bit more challenging. But this Chiefs lineup, what they were doing in preseason, they look pretty impressive. They beat the Blues in preseason. They beat Moana Pacifica in preseason. And this Crusaders side, don't get me wrong, they've got talent for days. Stacked backline, brilliant loose forward trio. But if the Chiefs can try and cut them open early, not literally, although they did have some men on like horses with swords earlier on, but they can get through that defensive barrier that the Crusaders put up, maybe they can find themselves some early success. It's Jacobson's 50th game, good for him, says Ed there. And the Crusaders is me champion, says Tian. And there as well, a nice attendance at this game. I was actually looking at sending Isaac to this match, seeing as he does live in Christchurch. You can get tickets anywhere between, I think they were like $18 to $50, depending on whereabouts you were. There are a lot of empty seats right next to the ground, though, or right next to the field, which I feel is a little bit disappointing. Would have been nice to see it sold out for the first match of Super Rugby Pacific. Ben O'Keefe, the referee in charge. Do you remember my name? It was, it either started with a T or I know it was a Maori name, and I apologize for not remembering it. We haven't seen you in a little while, so I feel like I've got a little bit of an excuse there, but it's 3, 2, 1, and we are now underway. Tamanui. It was Tamanui, wasn't it? It's going to be kicked off for the Crusaders to get this Super Rugby Pacific season underway. The Chiefs, they'll be claiming this one just out from their own 22. Interesting choice to wear white. By the end of this match, those kits more than likely will be brown because of all the mud that they're going to be causing. But that is a brilliant kick straight away from the Chiefs, forcing the Crusaders deep into their own 22. And Moonga looks for the clearing kick, gets it down towards the halfway line, and it will now be the Chiefs line out. Tamanui, I did get it. Now, anyone who ever says I don't listen to what the chat says, show them that. No, it's Tamanui, says Tamanui there. I've got a feeling Chiefs win today, says Gareth. I think they've got the benefit of playing the Crusaders first in this competition because normally as you get further through the comp, the Crusaders more and more find their rhythm. They almost get half a hand on a trophy and they go, yep, we'll just keep on going at this pace. So first game, Chiefs away from home. Let's see what they can do. Aiden Ross now going to have the carry. Weber goes back across to Jacobson. Now D-Mac gets it in behind, goes for the 50-22, but I believe it was taken back, and that ball is not rolling nicely. Havili lets it go into touch. It was very close to hitting his foot there. Be careful with that. And now, Crusaders are going to have themselves the line out. Who do you think is going to score the first try? My guess is Chiefs, surprising the home crowd. I think there's a good chance that we either see Nankerville or Tino Nanasatoro score the first try. Or Stevenson pads the place has gone with. I think it's going to be one of those either outside backs for the Chiefs or maybe Alex Nankerville. Anton Leonard Brown first try. Okay, maybe inside centre. Well there. Now Cody Taylor. No pressure, but you've got to get this line out right. Who's wearing number 21? Did Aiden Ross, maybe he tackled too many people and got muddy in the warm-up, so they're like, right, you're now number 27. They had all those spare jerseys from preseason where they were going up to about 46. Cody Taylor now falling almost the wrong way. The Chiefs almost able to get the turnover, but the ball will just pop out the back of the Crusaders' ruck. And now Drummond just outside of the 22 puts it high into the night sky. Nicely taken by Lester Whainānuku. Good challenge in the air between him and the number 14 for this matchup, which I believe is someone else who wasn't in their starting side, if I'm not wrong. Maybe a couple late changes here for the Chiefs. Now Drummond going to Goodhue. Nice little pop pass short to Ethan Blackadder. If that man can avoid injury, he's certainly going to be going to France. That is for sure. Now Scott Barrett goes off to Dunshay. Forward pass. Yep, they've called it. Forward pass to Cody Taylor, and they'll be going back for the scrum. We've got a donation from Mr. Lachlan. They said Crusaders to win 30-12, I predict. It's probably not too far off for the scoreline if the Crusaders play well. Because as soon as they get one try, normally it's those repeated tries that the Crusaders get that make them so dangerous. And Super Rugby, it's not the same as other competitions around the world in terms of their bonus point try system. You need 3 or more tries than your opposition. And that could mean the opposition scores 8 tries. If you score 10, you don't get a bonus point. It's an interesting system to have. A lot of other competitions have it. You score 4 tries, you get the bonus point. Not in this case. Crusaders fans will be banned, says Padset. They won't be, because we're having one round later on for the Waratahs Brumbies game. George will be joining us. Hey, Hamish, how you doing? What's your prediction for the Waratahs game? It's going to be a close one, because Waratahs at home versus a slightly favoured Brumbies side. Both have got some good players. I'm looking forward to seeing Corey Toole out on the wing for the Brumbies, though. I feel like he's one of those players that could certainly set the season on fire. Also, Nadolo coming off the bench in that matchup is going to be pretty awesome to see. 4 minutes in, Chiefs have got themselves a scrum 35 metres out from their own line here. At least wearing a white kit, you know who's actually doing stuff. Because anyone who stays at the white kit by the end of the match, my scoreboard's done a bit of a weirdness. Hang on, we'll go like this. Here we go. It's actually going to be the penalty to the Crusaders at scrum time there. Not what the Chiefs were after. Right, this is a 3-point attempt, I would say, from Richie Moonga, who's 35 metres out. Looks like he is going to be taking on the shots. And how much are these new rules in play? They are. They've got quite a few new rules in the Super Rugby competition, including this one, which will sound a bit confusing. But as we see it more throughout the season, it will make a little bit more sense. So the ruling is, if a player gets a yellow card, they go to the bin for 10 minutes. During the first 8 minutes of that yellow card, the TMO can then review the decision. And if they feel that they were a little bit too light on the player, they can actually churn it, or they can overrule the on-field decision, turn it into a red card. That player cannot return to the field, and a new player has to come out, similar to what would have been the case if there was the regular red card, which is the 20-minute red. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Like I mentioned, the more we see it throughout the season, the more it will make sense. Because saying that just then, I almost confused myself, and I've read up on the rule. That kick from Richie Moong is unsuccessful, gone away to the right-hand side, and the score after 5.5 minutes will remain at 0 points to 0. Come on, Hamish, off offence for once. He's bought in the Super Rugby season, says Gareth. Well, if the Hurricanes had made their kit a little bit cheaper, I would have been wearing one, because I absolutely love their design. But so who am I supporting, or who do I think will win? It's probably the better question there. And geez, even the TMO, even more stuff to mark it up. True, which is why they've decided to do it, that they can make the decisions while the player's off the field. I have no idea who gets the final say on that, though. Because if the TMO doesn't like a player, he's going to be like, yeah, nah, get him out. And who's going to say, no, you can't do that? Because if it's his ruling, I don't know. Several Reese and Damian McKenzie both going up for the ball there. Several tried to slap it back. Damian just smiling throughout the whole process. Hey, looks like Fletcher Knoll is limping a little bit, looking a bit ginger, not just in the hair colour. Medics are on there. He's already had 15 matches for the Crusaders. He's the youngest out of the three in that the front row. And no supporting, says Gareth. Well, it's a great question. I struggle to pick a team, as you know. Sup, Irish, says Amelia, welcome in. You're going well, and Go Chiefs, says Reed. The thing is, I want to see one of either Moana Pacifica or the Fijian Drua in the quarterfinal, if not both. Because I love to see the growth that they're getting in Pacific Island rugby at the moment, and I feel like the best way to continue growing it is for the sides to get results, because then the more that they're winning, the more people get behind them. I think the perfect example of that is the Irish at the moment in the rugby, because George was talking to me and he said one of the Irish workers who's never watched a game of rugby in their life was like, hey, we'd beat your All Blacks. And George was like, can you name an Irish player? And they were like, no, but we'd beat the All Blacks. So it's pretty much, you want to build a bandwagon for the Pacific Island sides, and you want people to stick to that wagon even if they do lose a few games. Geez, Mana says, Marco Vunapolo, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. That ball's gone high, taken beautifully by David Harvili on the halfway line. Now the Crusaders, they had to use that one quickly as the ball popped out the back. Ethan Blackadder slipping and sliding down the wing. Getting taken down low. Who's that man out on the right wing? Who was it supposed to be for the Chiefs? Is it who it was supposed to be? Chiefs. Is this Solomon Alomolo? He's had a haircut. He looks different to what I remember him looking. A lot of these players have gone with the stock standard trims, though, for this year. We haven't got any blue or pink here or anything like we had a couple seasons ago. Brad Weber now going off to the left-hand side, 40 metres out. Now the Chiefs on attack. It's a step from Sam Kane. Finds the offload to D-Mac, but it goes backwards. Now Sevu's knocked it on. So it's going to be the Chiefs ball if they can get it. Jack Goodhue jumps over the middle with a breakdown and gives away the penalty instead. And supposed to be Nino Satoro, and Crusaders look like they're just going to keep doing the high ball, says Jobo. And to be fair, in these conditions when it's raining, you might as well. As much as people think of Super Rugby as that fast-paced, all-running rugby, Cullen Grace is down. I hope it's not anything serious. Now, they're pushing on his shoulder. I'm trying to remember what part of his arm broke. I thought it was a wrist, but it could have been maybe the shoulder that Cullen Grace ended up hurting himself last year with. It's actually in a game of the Bunnings NBC. I remember watching that one. Sevu Reece rushed up there to try and shut down. Oh no, Cullen Grace is going off the field. This doesn't look good for the youngster. I think he is younger than me, isn't he? No, not. Slightly older. I'm getting news. Let's go Fiji for the Rugby Sevens and Super Rugby. Crusaders 37 and Chiefs 3. And don't think I'll stream the Rebels game tomorrow, says Amelia. Mate, you should be a politician, says Gareth. I would be a terrible politician because I can't say no. So, yeah, wouldn't go well for me. That's going to be kicked by Damian McKenzie. He's missed as well. Okay, so he's even with Richie. Both going for that fly half spot perhaps in the future, and both not quite getting that right. Fletcher Knowles down again. And also we have got the Let's Go Chiefs. Sorry, late getting up early here in Sweden. No worries at all. And not our Waimeti brother, Cully Grace, or Timaru brother. He just up the road from us. Blow the back out, says George. Fletcher Knowles' knees are given out, unfortunately, for him. McKenzie now 50 metres out from the line. Big shot on him by Scott Barrett. I think we'll see a few big shots from Barrett throughout the season. I can see Richie Moonga lurking in the background. They know that threat of the 50-22 from the Chiefs is available here. If they get it right, Weber not sure who to go to, so instead boots it up to Damian McKenzie. Now taken by Moonga just outside of the 22. Fires it across to the right to Havili. He's got a massive boot on him and he's sending it down towards the Chiefs 22. Now Stevenson takes it, gives it across to McKenzie, who then returns fire again. Straight down the middle of the park. Richie Moonga now inside of the 22. Might consider looking for the touchline here. And he does just that. Ball goes out. And now the Chiefs are going to once again have themselves the line out. So no one's scoring in the first 10 minutes. That's something that I'm sure on the TAB, I almost got it. But someone probably lost some money due to that one. Now Tom Christie takes it, bumps out of the tackle of Peter Gus Sawakula. Drummond back across to Moonga again and behind to Enor. Trying to step through the tackle of Anton Leonard-Brown, who does well. Counter ruck from the Chiefs here. I haven't seen Big Brody yet. Where's Big Brody? There he is. He's charging. He didn't get it. Didn't quite go in his direction, which is probably fair enough. The last thing you want to be doing is running straight at Brody. Retallick's charged it down. Oh, that was almost going to be epic if he got that one and then managed to score the try. Might have been asking for a bit much at this stage of the match. But now Drummond just outside of the 22. The Crusaders once again have to kick this one towards the touchline. Doesn't find it. Now Sean Stevenson, tackled by Sevu Reece. And Blackadder actually tackled another guy who had nothing to do with the scenario. But they play on for now. Jacobson takes the carry. Weber looks to the short side to Brody Retallick. It's as if he heard that I was talking. Well, I wasn't talking trash. I just said we hadn't seen him. Now he's everywhere. And also we have got there, where is it, played Waikato or the other place? It's in Christchurch at OrangeTheory Stadium for this matchup. And also we have got question for you, Hamish. What is your favourite new rules? The new rules, I mean, it's good that they're trying to speed up the game, but it's also, it's tricky because a lot of these guys will go into the World Cup thinking that they're playing certain rules. Same with Australia. And they will be completely different. And finally, Rules Rugby Super Rugby is here. Let's go, says Nate in the chat. Also, Tack says Builder. Right. Cody Taylor once again with another line out. Found the hands of Barrett on the 22. Now Christie looping around was Taylor. taken down by his opposite number, Samasoni Taukeiaho, one of the breakout players of last year's Super Rugby Pacific. It's going to be another advantage. Luke Jacobson taking out Drummond. Now Richie Mo'unga goes for the drop kick. Is he on meth? It's gone over. Should mention Richie Mo'unga would not be on meth, as he wouldn't be allowed to play if that was the case, I would think. Once again, back here, as my stand hasn't been paid, says AKA Just a Dog, been here since 2K subs, and now at 20K, you are a legend, says AKA Just a Dog. Do appreciate you being here, mate. The Chiefs have conceded the first 3 points. Okay, we've just had some expert analysis from Jeff Wilson. He said it seems to be that Cullen Grace has a shoulder injury. So I would think that that was obvious from him touching the shoulder and holding it down there like it was in a sling. It's going to not find touch. Taken by Solomon Alaimalo. Gives it off to McKenzie. Any Fijians on the field? Oh, Sever Reese. He's out there at the moment. Who else we got? Fijian. Peter Gus Sawakula. He's out there on the park as well. Now Reese tried to go for the grubber. It sits up for Sam Cane in a bit of space. Doesn't find his offload on the inside to Weber. Does now play half. Gives it off to Tupavai. 20 metres out now for the Chiefs. They're looking to strike back after conceding the 3. Now Damian McKenzie goes one more on the outside. Skip pass to Taukeiaho. Work from the Crusaders, though, forcing them backwards. Hey, Hamish, how you doing today? Says Carlos. Hope you're doing well. I am doing very good indeed. Super Rugby back. Gotta love it. Now Brad Weber goes across to Damian McKenzie, passes to Stevenson, who was actually in the second receiver role. Now Nankerval met by his opposite number, Braden Enor. Towards the touchline he goes, and he's been put out. And also Vanaka says, Octo Dad, and plenty of Fijians on the field, brother. They're all wingers at every level of rugby in New Zealand. And speaking of wingers from Fiji, Namani Nadolo playing in the Waratahs versus Brumbies matchup. That'll be good fun. Are you doing anything tomorrow? Not live stream? Says Brandon. I am going to be playing cricket in the morning for half of the game. And then I'm going to be coming home doing Moana Pacifica versus Fiji, Highlanders versus Blues, Reds versus Hurricanes, Sharks versus Ulster, Italy versus Ireland, England versus Wales, and then the sevens throughout the day till 4 p.m. So in other words, I'm insane. Richie Mo'unga now kicking that one across the field. Nice quick hands from Alaimalo to Stevenson inside ball to Damian McKenzie. Wasn't able to find his offload, but 10 metres out from the line. Once again, the Chiefs on hot attack. No one wanted it. Taukeiaho decided to leave it to get it wide. The Crusaders all rushing up for their defensive line. Now Weber goes across to Sam Cane, who's already found himself in a little bit of space earlier on in the contest. Now McKenzie again. Goes to Anton Leonard-Brown, Nankerval, little grubber in behind. Oh, it was going to be a big head clash. You know, that's not Solomon Alaimalo. I said he's had a haircut. He's also changed his whole face, if that's him. Who is that man? Oh, it's old bloody Coombs Fabling. I didn't recognise him because he normally has headgear on and curly hair. Super Rugby in it, says Sebastian. In it indeed, Sebastian. Hope you're doing well. D-Mac next try and hardcore schedule, man. Respect, says the Flying Pan Man. Yeah, it's going to be, I think I worked out that in a 24-hour window, we're doing 18 hours of live commentary. It's a bit much, I think, but she'll be right. As long as the voice is here, we're going to be fine. Now Brad Weber off the rolling maul, 10 metres out. Nankerval, big shot put onto him by Braden Enor. All bounces out the side of the breakdown. Now McKenzie, it seemed like they would go left, but he runs right instead, right into Joe Moody, who sat him down. 15 metres out. Kane looked like he was going to have a bit of a crack, but instead gives it off to George Dyer. Big opportunity for him starting this match at number 3. Something he may have to do throughout the season as well. Cody Taylor looking for the turnover, doesn't get it. Now short ball to Peter Gus Sawakula. 16 minutes into the match. Dyer picks the ball up, 5 out for the Chiefs now. Big Brody going to have a crack? No, they're going to give it to Taukeiaho. Why wouldn't you? Instead, though, he does offload it up to Aiden Ross. And now it's the penalty to the Crusaders. Who's that against? Okay, he's under him. He's off his feet. I believe that's against Luke Jacobson. Going down alongside Tupavai. Not doing too flash. Everyone can say goodbye, Hamish voice. But next more crazy. And Six Nations, says Bill McLeod. Yep. We've got the Six Nations in there as well. The two games, Ireland versus Italy and Wales versus England. So we're still doing our Six Nations streams. And after Italy versus Ireland tomorrow, go the Italians. Says Bill, to tell you what, if Italy won that game, that would cause a lot of people to say stuff on social media. It would be a scary place. It's going to be a knock on against the Crusaders again. Oh, the ball's available though for the Chiefs, so they will be able to play on now. Samasoni Taokiaho starts getting the legs driving. Drummond's done very well to be able to drag him down. They're on the 22 now. McKenzie goes off to the left. The ball's been put down by Lewis Coombs. Fabling now kicked forward by Tom Christie. Fabling has to jump on it, but he's got three Crusaders on top of him, including Sever Reese, who's looking to steal it. He has been able to do so. Now the grubber in behind into the 22. Nice Toro waits for it to sit up. Big pressure on him by Braden Enor. And David Havili just managing to pick it up. Brilliant work from Brodie Retallick, but he's just knocked the ball on. Cody Taylor picks it up 5 meters out. Sam Kane's offside, and that'll become the penalty. Now, you could say that that's slightly cynical, and I think Ben O'Keefe agrees, and Sam Kane is going to end up going to the bin for 10 minutes. That will be a quiz question in about 15 years' time. Who got the first yellow card of Super Rugby Pacific 2023? Sam Kane. He'll still be playing in about 15 years' time, won't he? Show the game, says Adrian. Sadly, we cannot due to licensing, but you can catch it on either Sky or Stan Sport as your two options. Now, Cody Taylor. It also show game white boy. We should have a show the game counter. See how many times we get asked that throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. I think we would hit triple figures easily. Now, Braden Enor does well. Grab that ball. It was a bit loose from the Crusaders. Now Moody. Taken down by Brodie Retallick. Cody Taylor actually fighting off. I think that was Christian Leo Willie. Did want to have that run round the side. Now Ethan Blackadder starting to drive hard. 5 out from the line. That's a bit hands on the ball in the breakdown. Now off to David Havili. Driving hard. They're not going to stop him there. D-Mac tried to get him pushed and shoved by, I think that was Mitchell Dunshay. That is going to be the first try of the match, and it's none other than David Havili who has been able to score it. And also no start for Samantha, says Nate, and also Foster's son off to the bin, says Nazi Williams. Who do you think should be AB's captain? Well, should be and who will be are two completely different answers. I think Savia certainly is at least worth a crack. Didn't really do anything wrong the last time he was captain. He's a good role model for the youngsters. So he just looks like a good leader. But who they will go with, they'll probably either go with Sam Kane, maybe Sam Whitelock they might consider as well, which I wouldn't mind Sam Whitelock too much, but I don't think he's got that kind of fire up the boys. You know? I feel like when you're losing a game, you want a captain who's going to, you're going to be slightly worried they're going to just yell in your face. And I don't see Whitelock doing that. I feel like he's the type of guy who would say sorry after raising his voice, which doesn't really work for a captain. Let's go, boys, says Dan, and let's go, Saders, says Tuila in the chat as well. Now, Ethan Blackadder taking some deep breaths. It's good to see him back, though. 10-0 for the Crusaders in the early stages of this contest, already a quarter of the way through. And also, where's the Chiefs shirt? Bowie says, Marco, it was actually going to be worn. I was heavily considering it, but I ended up wearing a jersey because it was a bit cold. But as soon as we get into a little bit of the warmer weather, Chiefs kit's certainly going to be coming back out. Now, Mitch Drummond inside of the 22. Kicks it high. That one's going to drift into touch. Is that kicked out on the full? Nope. Going to be the line out. 30 meters out from the line. They're just showing Christian Leo Willie there. Big opportunity for him in the Crusaders kit this year. But they've lost a lot of players, the Crusaders, but they've also added quite a few. Episana Patafilo coming to them from the Hurricanes. They've lost Kenny Naholo, which I think is a good move for Naholo because they played him once. And I feel like that was a massive waste of a guy who was debatably one of the best wingers in the Bunnings NBC competition. They just kind of held him there pretty much as a hostage so that they didn't have to give him to another team. Now McKenzie crossed the Retallick, short pop pass up to Aiden Ross. Now Weber goes to the left. Still 35 metres out. Nankerville driven sideways in the tackle by Christie. We'll see a lot of that throughout the season for Tom Christie. Makes huge amounts of tackles each matchup. And warmer there, just started snowing here. Stairs, Bill to McLeod. Now it is going to be Brad Weber goes to Damian McKenzie. Sean Stevenson moves up to 22 metres out from the line here for the Crusaders. Or sorry, for the Chiefs. Now Weber goes to Tokiaho. 23 minutes gone in the contest, and still they are playing with a man disadvantage for the next 6 minutes or so. AB captain should be Caleb Clark, says Octo Dad. Should it? And bye, Felicia. Have a great life, says Nate. I'm confused at what's going on. Liam Coos Fabling goes to Brad Weber. Now Sean Stevenson tries to step, taken down low by Christie. Again, they've got the advantage now. The Chiefs. Tupovai goes off to McKenzie to Peter Gasoakola. Driven down well and a tackle by Braden in. All the balls come loose. And they will now be going back for the original penalty for being on the wrong side, I believe they've said. I'm curious because the Crusaders, they came in as heavy favourites for this matchup. And now that they are 10-0 up, I feel like that favourite slowly increasing more and more as time goes by. But this is a kickable 3 for the Chiefs, and it looks like they do want to take it on. McKenzie decided that he does want to get some points under his belt for this first half. Sam Cane's still going to be off the field for another 7 minutes. So I should mention that this probably isn't a great example of one that could be overruled to a red, but if Sam Cane had, for instance, clotheslined someone, the TMO would be looking at this and deciding whether or not it was worse enough to be upgraded to a red. And if it was, then they would have to put a different player out on the field after the 20 minutes. Is Ethan Black out on your AB's 23? I think he's close. Because number 6s that we've got at the moment, you've got Frizzell, who hasn't been playing badly, so he's a good option. You've got Akira Ioane, who just still hasn't quite found his feet at international level. Like, he had a season, I think it was 1 or 2 years ago, that made it look like, okay, he's good. He's going to be good to go for a long time. And then he just kind of fizzled out again, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think it's out of those 3, to be honest, as the number 6, unless you're looking at a bit of a reshuffle and you put, I don't know, if a Jacobson gets a mention. Damian McKenzie has to take this kick. He's taken his time, and that's an absolutely shocking one. It's gone about maybe 10 metres short and out to the side. McKenzie definitely not kicking that one the way he would have liked. Tom Robinson in the AB's 23. He's very unlucky, Tom Robinson. So I feel like once again, they'll probably overlook Big Red, unfortunately. Did my boy Sevu score? He did not. He has not scored a try yet. David Arvili, first try scorer of the match for the Crusaders. Speaking of the Crusaders, they've just managed to turn over the ball in the line out. Cody Taylor tackled by Peter Gasoakola. Now Drummond calling men over. Guys, he wants to use his big forwards. Blackadder running hard with Christian Leo Willie next to him. Now Drummond once again will be putting this ball high. Seems to be a tactic that they have used quite a bit throughout this first half. Nicely taken by Lewis Coops Fabling, met by, or Liam, sorry, rather than Lewis. Now Peter Gasoakola working hard to keep that on the side of the Chiefs. Has done just enough to bounce it back to Damian McKenzie. Trying to pierce up the middle of the field. Taken down by Leo Willie. Now Weber. Soakola. I wonder what happened to Solomon Aloamalo, though, the man who was supposed to be in the starting lineup. All Blacks coach should be Hamish, the YouTuber, says Ollie. I don't think I would, even if like they were like, hey, we'll give you a whole heap of money, I don't think I'd accept that job. Just because I feel like the pressure that you have and the hate you're going to get if it goes wrong. Like, look at Ian Foster, for instance. Like, that man probably doesn't like going out in public in New Zealand anymore. And I mean, I don't go out in public much, but it would be nice to be able to go to, like, I don't know, the local park without getting abuse shouted at you. Richie Moonga. Now, nice pass off to Jack Goodhue. Tries to bump off at Tino Nanasatoro, and he's done a pretty decent job at it. Breaks through, gets a few extra meters, and he's looking good this year, Jack Goodhue. Saw him in preseason. He's looking quick again which is something he was lacking a little bit last year when he was just coming back from that injury. It seems like he's been working hard over the off season. Also, you'll be able to chuck George in at prop, says Nazi Williams. He's a hard-hitting man, George. So I feel like wherever you shoved him, it'd be all right. You know, like I feel like, tell you what, he's got some good speed too, old George. Imagine the damage he'd cause in the centres. I also don't agree with the 20-minute red. It's red because of the offence and punishes not just the player but the team for good measure. Says Bill McLeod, and you're definitely always on point, brother. Point, brother Hamish, says Justin. And come on, so glad to have Super Rugby back. Pretty awesome. We have got so many matches all taking place now. Wide pass from Alex Nankerval. Alai Malo. Okay, so wait. Is that Alai Malo on this wing? So what's happened to Atino Nana Satoro? Because Alai Malo swapped wings, and then Liam Coombs-Fabling's gone out onto the other wing, in fact. And the All Blacks coach, Purse, by Scott Robinson. And Yo says, Sam Henry, welcome in. Who's the fastest prop in New Zealand? Oh, who's the fella? There was one who, of course, now I can't think of, but he was very quick. Last year, he had a massive run. Xavier Numi is quite quick, I think, but there's another guy who I can't think of. I was going to get a shout out to Reed and Lee, also Kurt, Keelan, Jacob, and Rachel, the whole fam, by the sounds of it. Now it's going to be Drummond off to Christian, Leo, Willie. Not too far out from the line now. Fletching all round the side. He rolls. Is it all in one movement? No, it's held up. Chiefs doing extremely well to be able to stop that ball from going down over the line. Havili scored. He did indeed. The first try of the match for the Crusaders and the only try of the match for the Crusaders so far. And Liam Coombs-Fabling, in fact. Tell you what, the winger doing enough to stop a prop from rolling over and scoring it. I can imagine George running it hard to bowl me over, laughing at the same time, says Nazi Williams. Wait, George is laughing or you're laughing? Up the Chiefs, says Dino. The goal line dropout's gone out to about 35 metres out now. Leicester Whainanoku taken down by Ross. Now Leo Willie goes to Moonga. Barrett puts the kick in behind. That's something unique. It's gone into touch. Maybe he shouldn't try that again. What made him decide? I mean, don't get me wrong. The kicking option was there. But should it have been a lock who was doing that kicking option? Scott Robinson must be the All Blacks coach. There's Dan, and good to see Joe Moody and Ethan Blackadder back in action. Yep. Oh, free kick against the Crusaders there, closing the gap against Scott Barrett. Now, Mackenzie, he'll look to get as many metres on this one as he physically can. The Kiwi lad's good man, yes, says Reed there. 30 minutes into the contest, currently 10-0 for the home side, the Crusaders. We'll look to keep on building here and slowly work that way towards the bonus point. Do you still do Rugby Challenge 4 videos? Every once in a while, we've had a Rugby Challenge video go up on the channel. The most recent one, if you don't like swearing, I wouldn't recommend watching it. It is all censored, but there's a lot of bleeping because I did play Rugby Challenge blindfolded with George. What Six Nations games are you doing, Hamish? We are doing all 3. So we are doing 6 out of the 7 Super Rugby games. The only one that we aren't doing as Super Rugby is Force versus Rebels, as it does overlap with the Sharks versus Ulster that we are doing instead. We're doing all the Six Nations, and also we're doing a lot of the LA 7s that are happening all throughout the night and daytime here in New Zealand. Retallick, 35 metres out, the Chiefs with Mackenzie on the outside to Leonard Brown. He puts in the kick. And it's going to be picked up beautifully by Richie Moonga, who somehow managed to stay on his feet. Mackenzie has to wait for that one to bounce. Thinks about stepping around Moonga. Sides against it. Goes across to Alai Marlow. Now Sean Stevenson. The space opening up the middle now for Stevenson. He's got Liam Coombs-Fabling out on his right-hand side. Why'd he kick it? That was not the option. And Leicester Whainanoku going to be able to clean it up. Just the wide cutout pass would have done in that case. Now Drummond waiting for a few of the other players coming next to him. Crusaders have 13 titles, says Tian there. And they should probably let someone else win it, shouldn't they? But selfish from the Crusaders. Now Alai Marlow going off to the bottom side of the field. Anton Leonard Brown steps back, Trying to get through the tackle with Dunshay. He does successfully breaks through the tackle with Christie and Leo Willie as well. Now Weber off to Ross. Nice pop pass up to Dyer, his propping teammate there, who's upside down at the moment. Now McKenzie short ball. Few dummy runners for the Chiefs there. Now Weber almost ended up dropping that ball. He's got the speed. Got the speed? Got the speed there, Weber. 5 meters out from the line. Now Stevenson plays half. Advantage going the way of the Chiefs, the away side. Going to get this ball again. Sean Stevenson will play half. In fact, decides to leave it for Weber. Gives it off to Dyer. Big Brody Retallickson. And he scored the first try of the season for the Chiefs. And it's none other than Big Brody who has been able to go in and get himself the try. Go to Crusader. I personally like revised 20-minute red. Initially punishes the player in the foul play, but it is enough, or if there enough malicious intent, it punishes the team too. Adds much needed nuance, if I said that correctly. But that was a great run from Big Brody just round the side of the breakdown. Dyer quick hands off to the lock, and you could see that kind of created a bit of a stutter in the Crusaders defense. They weren't expecting the pop pass up, and Retallick just drives through the tackle of Mitchell Dunshay. Right, McKenzie can't miss this. It's almost straight out in front. He's got it over, and the score now 10 points to 7. Favor of the home side, the Crusaders still just having a bit of a huddle here. The Crusaders, of course, off a line out, you're no longer allowed to huddle. That actually results in a free kick to the opposition. And then after that, it does result in a penalty to the other side. Retallick leading the try scoring sheet for the Chiefs so far throughout Super Rugby 2023. Where's your Chiefs shirt? It is in my wardrobe on a nice hanger at the moment. It's a bit chilly here, so I decided to keep the jersey on. Does D-Max still do the grin? He does. But maybe, I don't know, it seems like it's slowly not working for him, Damian McKenzie. It could just be the pressure of an actual game. Plus, it's wet conditions. All of the games of pre-season were played when it was dry. And let's go the Chiefs with the try, says Nate. And also, come on, Crusaders, says Mr. Lachlan. Now, David Avili looking for the 50-22, keeping it flat and low. But McKenzie takes it, and they're going back for the penalty. I believe that will be to the Crusaders. For the Chiefs being accidentally offside. We're in mind from 2013. Who scored? Brody Retallick for the Chiefs. David Havili for the Crusaders. Guzzler, says Nate. D-Max stole that goal-kicking grin off Kristen Inu. Have I said that correctly? Inu. I've just heard. Now, looks like Richie Moonga has decided we're sick of 3-pointers. Let's go for a 7. It's going to be a decent kick. 10 meters out now. Go, Chiefs, go. Here's Reed. Right, Cody Taylor. Crusaders normally pride themselves on their rolling maul, although the Chiefs have managed to defend it not too badly. You're going for the Chiefs or the Crusaders. He's AKA Just a Dog, and just before that, he's put Go Crusaders. So I feel like if I don't say the Crusaders, you might be annoyed. That was relatively straight from Cody Taylor. I mean, at home, I think my score prediction for this match was Crusaders by 7. So I feel like that might not be a mile off. Now the rolling maul, still rolling nicely. Cody Taylor getting close. Is he over? It looks like he might just be. Yes, he is. And it's going to be possibly going upstairs. We could see a yellow card here for a Chiefs player if they're not careful as well. And Chiefs by 3. I thought you were a Crusaders supporter. Well, I'm from Canterbury, but I'm from the border of Canterbury and Otago type thing. So I can go either way, south or north. They have a different side. Wrong jersey, my guy says Blues Nate. I get a lot of comments here in Sweden when I wear my Chiefs jersey. Right. Cody Taylor. Okay, so they're actually saying that Cody Taylor, he slipped over, and it should be ruled out because when his knees go to the ground, that stops his ability of being a part of that rolling maul. Go to Crusader, Red and Black Heart, says Christopher. These two teams could easily make the final again. So, yeah, Cody Taylor goes down, then rejoins. Okay, they're going to disallow the try. I guess that is double movement, I guess you call it. In that case, I never have and always will be a Waikato man. No try. Scott Robinson disappointed with that one. That showed a little bit of desperation from Robinson seeing that one disallowed. Hey guys, says Obi, welcome in. Only 2.5 minutes left of the first half. Geez, they've got a lot of PK gum at the front, don't they? That was like 4 packets for all the coaches. Chewing up a storm. Brad Weber looks like he might consider kicking this one downfield into touch. And I was able to see the vids I sent you on Discord. I did. The ones from the other day, if that is the ones you're talking about. Okay, Scott Barrett has to go back the 10 meters. Looks like Damian McKenzie. Okay, I don't know what Scott Barrett was asking for in terms of a penalty, but either way, he didn't get it. What's Razor wearing? Says Octodad. And then, yes, says Sam Henry. I mean, it's one of those ones. He definitely knows that he doesn't have to break dance yet in the season. He'll have to wait a little bit longer towards the finals footy stage where he gets to bust out the moves. That one's gone over the top of the line out. Nicely taken by the Crusaders, though, so they will now have another attacking opportunity. That was a massive shot put in by Peter Gus Sowakula. Now Barrett. Why is he kicking again? This time it's going to go into touch again. Okay, I was going to say this time it might pay off, but it didn't. Unfortunately, Scott Barrett, he's decided that he's got the kicking boots on. Sees the space, kicks it in behind. It wasn't a terrible kick either. It's going to be stolen by the Crusaders. How did that even happen? I don't know how the Chiefs just gave that ball away. They weren't showing it, but you'd assume that they went for the quick line-out throw and then either dropped the ball or just got it stolen. The penalty goes the way of the Chiefs, though. This match over for the day. Now, Super Rugby, not much sleep for me in the UK tonight. There's Paul, and I was going to go to the Crusaders Reds game. I'm going to buy Hogwarts Legacy instead. And also, I posted a new Dream League. And Sam Kane shouldn't captain ABs in the World Cup, in my opinion. There are a few ABs players who actually did it better when he's unavailable this year. Or who actually did it better. Also, perhaps Whitelock, Savi, even Bowden Barrett really take over if they let him. Yeah. Earlier on, someone asked who I'd have, and I said Artie Savia, just because it seems like the best bet. Let's go, Chiefs. Do you think Bairstow will replace Zach Crawley when it comes back into the England cricket team? There's a chance that Crawley loses a spot just because he doesn't seem like he's going too well at the moment. Brad Weber goes off to Peter Gus Sowakula, 45 metres out from the Chiefs line. Currently 2 minutes left in this first half. McKenzie's dropped it. Did he knock it on? It looked like there might have been. Now it's a knock on from Luke Jacobson, just in case they weren't sure. And to both the Rebels, says Xavier. And nothing like a forward thinking he can play like a back, says Belden McLeod. Did he lose a bet to his brothers or something, says Gareth. He's kicking a lot, that is for sure. Now, 38 minutes gone. Players starting to look a bit more fatigued. Now, the thing is, as we get further and further through this contest, we'll see a lot more players slowing down. Subs might be crucial in this matchup. And also, England did very good batting. I heard they did indeed a 200-run partnership plus for Root and also Brook. How long is Hansen in Japan for? And in 2025, says Dino. And come on, Richie Moonga, come on, boy. Wait, so is 2025 when Hansen's in Japan too, or is that for the Taniela Tupou scenario? How you, my bro, says Christopher Dixon, doing very well. Excited for a Super Rugby competition. We've got another game just a little bit later on tonight. It's going to be the matchup between the Waratahs and the Brumbies. And we are going to be covering it on the channel alongside one of the other Kiwi lads, George. Now, we'll mention that George sometimes swears. So that's the warning now. That later one. The scrum, it's taken quite a bit of time to go down. Mitch Drummond about to feed the ball in for the Crusaders, who do find themselves 37 metres out from the Chiefs line. It's gone flat. I've been told to play the ball. Christian Leo Willie now goes off to Drummond. Good you. Linking up beautifully with Richie Moonga. Now to Severis down the wing. Went just into touch. I believe that will end up being half time. And also, how about promoting Pope to open, freeing up a place for Johnny? In reality, though, there will always be injuries creating vacancies, says Paul. Yeah, at the moment, I mean, one thing's for sure, Brooke, at the start of the test match, people were saying in the comments, they were like, should he lose his spot to Dearstow when he comes back? And I feel like now he's just kind of gone, nah, I'm not going anywhere. Tupo scenario. Okay. Midnight game for you tomorrow, says Xavier. True. Although I've broken the news to Amelia already, Xavier, that we won't actually be doing the live commentary for Rebels versus Western Force, only because it's our only break that we can squeeze in to have like food during. I'll probably end up cooking something after the Reds versus Hurricanes game. So the plan is going to be after Reds versus Hurricanes, I'm then going to be having about an hour and a bit break where I'm cooking food and then coming back for Sharks versus Ulster, followed by 2 Six Nations games and then the whole day of sevens as well. At least Chiefs are only down by 3, says Novum, and how's the best kicking, or who's the best kicking forward in New Zealand? I mean, Hardy Savi has shown that he's got a few skills in the past. Who else kicks? I'm trying to think of forwards. Tell you what, the Highlanders number 2. I don't even know his name. He was a replacement in one of the preseason games. He put a grubber through, chased it down, and won the game for them. But like I said, I don't know who it was, but he looked all right. Super round next week, and I live in Melbourne, says Dino. Oh, it'll be a good one to go to if you do get the chance. Hey, Hamish, good day from Cambodia. Good to have you. The footy back, says Image. Yeah, it's great to have Super Rugby here. It's been one of those competitions that I've been waiting for the last few weeks. And then all of a sudden we're here, and it just means we're getting closer and closer to the World Cup as well in the process. Halftime in this contest, still relatively close, 10 points to 7. When we stream cricket next, says Ahmad, probably in about 3 days' time. Because if we're already doing 18 hours of streaming in 24 hours, even if the cricket's on during that other 6 hours, I probably should do some sleeping. So that's the plan. As much as I'd love to do the cricket as well, it's just more of the case of like, yeah, over 48 hours, I believe we're doing about probably 35 to 40 hours of streaming. So it might be just a bit too much chucking in some test match cricket. I'm still watching the test though. Any chance that I get, it'll probably be while I'm editing or doing the other stuff for the live stream preparation, but we'll still be squeezing in some cricket to watch, just not on stream. The Crusaders make me so proud, says Tian. Would you rather have Hansen or Razor as ABC coach? I mean, Hansen's got that record behind him. Razor hasn't proved himself at international level yet. But longevity-wise, you'd think that Razor has a better chance. Because if it's current day Hansen, you probably still go Razor? Just to give him a chance to see what he can do type thing. Is Razor going to Fiji? There are rumours that could be the case in Hamish, says Scott. Welcome in, mate. You are doing very well. I've just had a notification the All Blacks 15 to play 2 games up against Japan. Find out when that's taking place. And rugby is more fun to commentate than a cricket game, right? Hamish says, Ed, it's different, which probably sounds weird because it's like, hey, you talk on both of them. And you talk really fast on both of them. But I find that rugby commentary-wise, there's more happening in the matchup compared to cricket. Whereas cricket, I enjoy the slower pace because I do get to chat a little bit more with you guys. So I'll have little gaps in between the overs, wickets, and like drinks breaks and whatnot. So I do get more chance to read the chat. Whereas with rugby, trying to commentate the game and also finish all of the chat is very tricky to do. We managed to get by, mainly because I talk at 1,000 miles an hour, as you guys will know. But yeah, I think they're different in a good way, and they're a nice break from each other. So after doing like a full 40 hours of rugby commentary for this weekend, I feel like doing a test match on like Tuesday night, Monday night will be quite nice. Just the slow pace, like chilled out type thing. Okay, on the 8th of July, it looks like the All Blacks are going to be playing, or the All Blacks 15 are going to be playing Japan. And then on the 15th of July, they're also going to be playing Japan. That is the All Blacks 15 just announced not too long ago. And no, FRU got Simon Rivalui or Riwalui. Hopefully I've said that correctly. One Fijian's coach for the World Cup. Says DK there. I see. So that's no Razor then. And Razor probably wouldn't accept a assistant coach role. I feel like if he's going to play, he's going to be the big dog, or he's going to coach, I should say. Hey, Hamish and chat, what a tight game so far. It is what we like to see, a nice close game. between them, and they're still discussing who should be AB's coach this year. Breakdown show. Yeah, but like I don't understand that to a certain extent. Like they've made their bed by picking out Ian Foster. Now they've got to lie in it for the next like little while. They had a chance to replace Foster about 5 months ago, and they were like, "Nah, we'll keep him around." So it's all great, them like the ex pundits wanting to change who the coach is, but like they can't do anything about it. He's locked in unless you're going to pay him a whole heap of money. Switch your coach this close to a World Cup, which could be catastrophic for the ABs. I feel like at this stage now, we're at the point that Kiwi should probably just, as much as they may not like what he's done in the past, Ian Foster, he's their coach. You gotta back him. 8th of July, we fly back to New Zealand for the time in 4 years and leave Fozzie there. Joe and Jason Ryan got this, says it was there from Nate. And Buller says, DK, welcome in. And I should mention we are going to be doing the Fijian Sevens coming up here. The LA Sevens, not too far away. Fiji, they've got some big games coming up in pool play. And we are going to be covering them on the channel as well. Now, at the time of those live streams, I would have been awake for almost 24 hours. So hopefully I've still got the amount of energy that I have at the start. Is D-Mac playing? He's playing fly half for the Chiefs in this matchup rather than playing 15, which they do have Sean Stevenson slotting in to that spot. Looking through at the reserves bench status, they've got Brady McAllister, George Bauer, and Tamaiti Williams. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Tamaiti Williams makes his way out onto the field relatively early in the second half, just due to Fletcher Null having a few knee injuries throughout that first 40 minutes. Zach Gallagher, also the option at lock. Christian Leo Willie, he's already out there on the field. That is due to the injury of Cullen Grace. Did happen a bit earlier on in the contest. Willie Hines, Fergus Burke, and also Macca Springer, the last option. Then for the Chiefs, Ollie Norris, Bradley Slater, John Ryan, big Irishman. Get the chance later on in the contest. Natoa Akoi, Samapeni Finau, Cortez Ratama, also Josh Ioane, and Ramika Poihipi, the last man in there as well. Also, I'll manage the cup for the game, and who's going to be the Super Rugby final. And I better not hear Crusaders, says Dino. Right, so quickly block your ears for about 2 seconds. Crusaders. And also, I'd like to see either the Blues or, the Chiefs. They've got a pretty decent squad. It would also be nice to see a side from overseas, though, just to add that little bit of a trans-Tasman feeling to it, so it's not New Zealand versus New Zealand. And I'll manage the cup for the game. And who's going? Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? What's the final score at halftime? It is 10-7 between the two sides. New Zealand Rugby Union needs to front up, offer clarity. Too much embarrassing drama now between Fozzie, recent media outcry, Razor being hung out to dry, Crusaders all day. There's Christopher. And don't sleep on the Tars. True. Seeing their squad. They've got Michael Hooper in there, which I'm sure you will be keen on. Also, they've got Namani Nadolo, one of the men who are coming off the bench. Charlie Gamble in that loose forward trio I like. Do they also get Harry Wilson? Is that another signing that they've got Xavier for this season, I think? Maybe, if I'm not wrong. The Canes are winning, says Sam Henry. I was like, yeah, come on, Cheese Mana, says Mark. No, I don't think we're too far away from the second half getting underway for this matchup. Like I mentioned, we will be back with the live stream at 9:30. Harry Wilson went to the Force, didn't he? He ended up at the Western Force. Is that where I saw his name? Can you call me on the 17th of March? That's quite a wee way. So I can't guarantee anything, unfortunately. Sorry. Just because of the hectic schedule that we are going to be having throughout March and February. Of course, the NRL starting up very soon as well. Then the Ashes, that's not too far away. A couple of months or 3 months' time. Jumping into July internationals. It'll be pretty awesome to see how those end up going. The big matches. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 points difference, who's going to be winning in the second half? Final score 18-19 to the Chiefs, says Dino there. And after we exit the World Cup, France are still too good for us, and Italy are playing seriously good rugby in the Six Nations, says Belder McLeod. I feel like that's why some people would say having Italy beat Ireland this weekend would be a massive, I guess you could say a mash-up in the rugby world. Covering any Warriors game if it's in this season? Definitely. And also, we're hoping to cover a few more of the NRL games that are taking place on Thursdays and Sundays. The ones that don't overlap with Super Rugby, we are hoping to be able to cover quite a few on the channel as well. And how has Blackadder been today? Or been playing? He's been going all right. We've seen a couple runs from him, but probably a little bit quieter than some people think he normally would be. But he's just come back. Tom Christie, he's been actually probably carrying a lot of the workload when it comes to the groupings. So he's done all right. Like, he hasn't done anything wrong at this point, I guess you could say. And cheers, says Nazi Williams. And see, they could have squeezed in a third Bledisloe in Japan, says Dave. Yeah, we were talking about that the other week, weren't we? About them possibly going for a third on mutual territory. And I mean, Japan's a pretty good option. Big stadiums, respectful crowds. They would have loved it. Sadly, they've decided against it. And Rebels, I need to play as a team. Reese Hodge carried Rebels last season. Says Nate there. Yeah, the Rebels, they've lost a few big players. They've lost Matt Tamua. It'll be another one that might be a bit of a gap to fill. Rob Leota, is he still there or did he go as well? I know John O'Wells was getting a bit of a stepping up role at one point. They're just showing us oil at the moment. Chemist Warehouse, where's Dan Carter? Is he lurking? No, not in this ad. Yeah, the second half, I think what we learned in that first half is the wet conditions have changed this game drastically in terms of what we would have seen had it not been raining. I think we would have seen a lot more running rugby. The fact that Scott Barrett has tried twice to go for kicks in behind is a little bit weird. We'll go with it. The Super Rugby must be normal, says 10 in there as well. And that is one thing that I do like about Super Rugby is the fact that the games are on at decent hours for me here in New Zealand. It's very handy. Although it doesn't help too much. Whoops, I bumped the keyboard a little bit there. Because I am going to be playing cricket tomorrow, but I can only play half the game for my side because of cricket. Sorry, not of cricket, of Super Rugby. We will be coming home doing the Moana Pacifica versus Fiji and Drua game. And then also after that, Blues Highlanders, and then followed by Reds Hurricanes for our Super Rugby matches. Those are the ones that we are going to be covering tomorrow. And then we've also got the URC and the Six Nations that are taking place throughout the night, followed by some Sevens live streams the next day. We are going to be exhausted on Tuesday, but then we jump straight back into Test match cricket, I believe. The next one that we've got. I might get a day off on like Wednesday, maybe. And also, we have got the Hamish just got home from work. The game real or just a trial? It is the real season, the first matchup of the Super Rugby Pacific 2023 comp. And one thing I've learned is this halftime is quite long. And also, we have got there, that's Commitment Bro putting this before your cricket chair, says Nazi Williams. Yeah, I think the team, we've ended up being slightly shorter of numbers. So I think we're going into the game with 10. And with me gone, it's going to be 9. So ideally, I think we want to be bowling first. Hopefully, we bowl well. We can bowl them out in about maybe 30 overs, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit less. And then I'll get to have an opening bat. And then if I go out or retire, then I'll have to drive straight home because we're playing 30 minutes away. So I've got to drive 30 minutes there, play the match, drive 30 minutes home, probably eat a banana as a snack, and then straight into the commentary. I like the Super Rugby Crusaders versus the Stormers. Taniela Tupou playing for the Rebels next season, says Joe Webby. And how's the DMAC versus Richie Mo'unga battle? AB's 10 at stake. Bowden Barrett might have a say too. So both of their kicking has been below average. They both missed their early kicks, but then from there, Richie Mo'unga has started converting. Damian McKenzie, he took an extra kick to then be able to find his rhythm. But running-wise, Richie's played more of a distributor role in this match, whereas we've seen a little bit more of McKenzie running the ball. Like, that's really the only difference. Just a few extra meters made by McKenzie and a few extra passes made by Mo'unga. And Eddie Jones saying today the Thor going to be the best in the world. These new rules around speeding up the game, very refreshing. And hi, says Jacob, welcome in, mate. Doing well. Tupou signed for 2025. Tongan Thor is a rebel now based on the footy capital of Oz, says DK. E. Jones saying today the Thor going to be the best in the world. Got potential, Daniela Tupou. The thing that concerns me is definitely injuries, though. Right, Cody Taylor's actually been taken off the field for the start of the second half, and that is for Brody McAllister. So I don't know if there's some sort of injury lurking there for Taylor, or they just feel that it wouldn't be a bad idea to ease them into it, I guess, for the new season. But it's nicely taken by the Crusaders inside of their 22, up the mighty Chiefs. Says Teariki there. Now Fletcher Null trying to pin his ears back, make a few extra meters. I mentioned that he might end up going off the field relatively early. That's going to become the penalty to the Crusaders. What the final score? It has not happened yet. Halftime score 10-7. Final score still 39 minutes away. Rule changes to speed up the game. It's good for the game. Catch them off guard, says Blues Nate. Yeah, theoretically, this game should be over by about 8:50, 8:52, 8:53, somewhere around there, which will give us about 37 minutes till the next stream, which is good because I do have to still set up over there with myself and George. Now, short ball from Drummond gives it to Leo Willie again, 40 meters out from the Chiefs line now. It was a very good run. A few post contact meters. Dunshay ended up dropping that ball, but now picked up by Blackadder. Drummond. Or Moong has a bit of a fumble, but gets it off to Sever Reese. Got out on the wing by Sean Stevenson. At the moment, both sides defending pretty well. Turns out making their tackles. I don't know who will win. The team starting with C. Says Novmum. True. Very true. It's going to be bouncing awkwardly. Taken by Sever Reese. Oh, big shot from Damian McKenzie. In fact, that is not a player who I expected to be putting in a big hit. On the number 14, they're going for the counter. No, Sam Kane penalised in the breakdown. Wasn't completely his fault. He thought the ball was there, but it was not. And the next 10 minutes, Chiefs need to score or try no more errors. Crusaders come on. And whereas here, Spider says, Ed, here, Spider. Who was here, Spider? Who was here, Spider? That's gone over my head, Ed. Unfortunately, and Thor is all class until he moved to Oz and downhill from there. D-Max a solid defender, says Matthew. Yeah, he puts in some big hits, which is quite surprising with the size of him. Like normally in the battle between those two, you'd think that Sever Reese would use some of that power and get through. But McKenzie, when he goes around the bootlaces, he gets them 9 out of 10 times. But when he goes a bit higher, it seems to be more 50-50. Not the biggest bloke, but D-Max always been tough. No fear amongst giants. Exactly right. Now, Braden Enor takes contact. Another run from Leo Willie. He's been pretty decent since coming off the bench. Cullen Grace in the injury department. Now Lester Fainanoku tried to spin out. Doesn't get it. Going for Leo Willie again. Now Drummond off to Moonga. Moody short pass up to Ethan Blackadder. Ball comes loose. Drummond manages to pick it up now. Goodhue short pass off to David Harvili. And the turnover is good. It was actually about to be a penalty blown for the Crusaders, but the Chiefs getting the turnover actually meant that there was no penalty advantage. Now Sever Reese taking it inside of his own 22, dragged down by Sean Stevenson, who now looks for a bit of a counter ruck, and they win the penalty there, the Chiefs. Now they're down by 3. So you take the 3 points here, you get to 10-10, but you're also in a very good position to be able to go for a 5-meter line out in there as well. Craig has said, don't. Good. And I also haven't heard Retallick name called out. Yeah, I actually said he had a quiet first 20 minutes, and then he scored the try for the for the Chiefs. And also remember Lakem. I do remember Lakem. Welcome back, mate. I can't wait for tomorrow's games up the game. I haven't heard Joe Webbing name called out either, says Teariki. And Matthew preferred D-Mac at 10 than 15, says Craig. And also, we have got Saders always play 80 minutes, full 80. Hopefully, Chiefs don't gas out by the third quarter. DK, yeah, it's going to be all about picking the right time to bring your reserves on. 5 meters out. They have gone for the line out. Tolkiaho gets it to Retallick. Passes it back to Brad Weber. Why are we kicking so often? Both sides. Just giving that ball away. Then Brown decided he wanted to grub her. And it goes straight to the Crusaders. Guys like, okay, Brody Retallick scored first try for the Chiefs. Now Moonga able to kick it for touch, and they're no longer 5 metres out from the line. Instead, they're about 35. Now Coombs Fabling looking to run it hard at the line, taken down by Drummond. Now Weber off to Sam Kane. Bumping through a tackle with Christie, but taken down by Null. Now Ioane actually making his way out onto the field. Damien McKenzie, short ball to Sean Stevenson. One more on the outside. Nankerville has lost his footing. They're 10 metres out from the line. Now the Chiefs. Sayers trying to slow it down in the breakdown, get themselves set. They work up pretty quick there. Joe Moody, the first man to meet him. Now Retallick again. Nice step from the big man. Almost getting through. Now short ball to Vai. He's dropped it backwards. They've said so. Sam Kane does manage to clean it up. Ball bounces out the side. Null's on it. And now, oh, that was a big shot to the mush of Leo Willie from Peter Gasoakula. Also, apologies for that finger straight, says Craig. No worries. I reckon D-Mac 15, Mountain 10. How's the battle of the sevens, says DK. So Sam Kane, he hasn't been doing too badly. Tom Christie's made a lot of tackles throughout this matchup. And I should mention that Sam Kane also ended up with a yellow card a bit earlier on. Tolkiaho, once again, trying to burst through tackles. Null makes another one. Now Vai managed to hang on to that one. McAllister takes him down. Weber going to the left. Ioane looks like he's going to be playing more of a first receiver role. Maybe D-Mac has now dropped back to fullback. Anton Leonard-Brown trying to back his pace. He's taken down by Scott Barrett, who was able to catch him. Oh. He might have hurt himself there, Anton Leonard-Brown. What happened to him? Not sure. I lean towards the Chiefs to take this out, I hope, says Spider-Mick. They must be watching too much Northern Hemisphere games, all this kicking. Here's Nazi Williams. Yeah, I think it's also because of the rain. Okay, the game's going to continue for a second. Looks like he's done for the day, so that will mean that Ramika Poihapi more than likely makes his way out. Why did Kane get a yellow card? It was pretty much he was in an accidental offside position, and he picked up the ball when they were about 10 metres out from the line. Scott Barrett ain't no slouch, says Matthew. Yeah, those Barrett boys all have pace. Like a backyard game of touch rugby with them would have involved a lot of running. That is for sure. 50-22 from Damien McKenzie, and now the Chiefs will have themselves the line-out throw. But it looks like now Ramika will be about to make his way out onto the park, and he does. They actually ended up playing with less than 15 for a little while there. The last dance for the Crusaders, likes of Richie Moonga, Razor, and others. DK, and they were mentioning that before the game. They said that these boys, they will definitely want to go out there and get a title or something. One last time. Cousin Quintapai still injured. Does seem that way. We haven't actually heard that name too much. Quintapai, hopefully he does get back in the next few months. Oh, yeah, might have twisted it a bit there, Anton Leonard-Brown. I don't think it's going to be hugely serious. Might have just been a bit of a sprain. I don't think it's broken anyway. The way that he was still able to slightly walk on it, I don't think he would have been able to be broken it clean. Anton Leonard-Brown quite injury prone. No offense, says Nazi Williams. It's a factual statement, unfortunately. And that's the thing. The Super Rugby competition, we're going to see some players who would have been playing in the World Cup taken out with injuries. And it's kind of a scary thought when you think about it. Like, we've got a full season ahead of us that if anyone injures like an Achilles or a knee or anything really serious, they're not playing in France. So, you know, you look at some of the keys in this game, like a Brad Weber, great step there, but Damien McKenzie, Richie Moonga, those type of guys, if they end up injured, there's gaps that need to be filled. And that's where those younger players in Super Rugby can also kind of book themselves a chance. Now, Weber, we're going to go to the left-hand side. Jacobson wrestled down. Now Weber again going across. This is good work from the Chiefs. I believe that time it was Ramika Poihapi adding it up. Samasone Taukiaho out from the line. The Chiefs just continuing to try and break through. Strong Crusaders defense. Short ball, Sam Kane. He's over. and he'll score the try for the Chiefs. So he got the first yellow card of the comp. He got the second try of the comp for the Chiefs. France hates DMAC after what he did to them in 2018. There's Tesla. And who have you got for this game? I mean, the Chiefs are now going to take the lead for the first time in this match. My original prediction was the Crusaders by 7. So I'll stick with that, but it's going to be a slightly hesitant scoreline now, the way that these boys are going. How's Goodhue doing? He's looking good out there at the moment, Jack Goodhue. He's another one similar to what we saw or what we described as Ethan Blackadder, which was hasn't really put a foot wrong. He's just been out there type thing. I'm no expert, to be fair. I watched a few All Blacks games recently, lots of games when DMAC came on late in the 15s. The Wallabies game came to mind, and they scored over 20 points. I like him at 10, though, says Craig. And shot Foster's son shot. I reckon Richie Mo'unga at number 10 and Damian McKenzie at number 15 for the All Blacks. Says Derek, and 6 in a row, 7 to come. Hopefully more breakdancing for Razor, then becomes AB's coach post-World Cup. That's dream anyway, says what's there from DK. But good run from Sam Cane, breaking through the tackle with Scott Barrett. And it looks like it will be the end of Fletcher Null's night. He will be coming off the field. But to Mighty Williams, also George Bauer now out there. That is for Joe Moody. Vai running hard. Run it back off the kickoff. I should mention now the Crusaders, they are down by 4 with that successful conversion. Come on, the Chiefs. And also Coke on the Saders. Or come on, the Saders, I think that is. And go Crusaders, go, says Dan. And go Chiefs, come on. And how long Anton Leonard-Brown is out for injury again now, you reckon? That means unlucky. I think it's no more serious than maybe 2 weeks. I think it was just an ankle kind of sprain / he landed on it awkwardly. I don't believe it's going to be a long injury, but I could be wrong. Quite a tough guy, so you never know. It could be broken. 30 minutes left. The Crusaders winning themselves the penalty just inside of the Chiefs' territory, and they will put it into touch. Oh, it came back late. It didn't find touch. It didn't find touch. The banana kick ended up going a little bit too far, so we've got the replay being shown, but they do need to get back to the action. Mo'unga not happy. Wait. Okay, I thought for a second Liam Coons-Fabling kicked that one out on the full. Just need Crusaders in the task to win. Says Aiden there. McAllister throws it in nicely. Willie Hines also out on the field. That is for Mitch Drummond. So the Crusaders making a lot more of their subs earlier than what we've seen for the Chiefs. That could come to backfire, but a good run there from Brody McAllister, I should say. Willie Hines now to the right to Mighty Williams. His first carry of the day. Around the side, Christian Leo Willie. He's been good in this matchup. I feel like he's got a real chance of man of the match if the Crusaders are able to pull through. And let's go. There's the Mighty. Sorry, that's Tamati. And there Crusaders on. DK. Vai manages to win the penalty. McKenzie kicking for touch. Now he doesn't find touch. Both Mo'unga and McKenzie seem to be trying to one-up each other for what type of mistake they can make that's worse. We first saw it with missing their first kicks at goal. We're now seeing it with not being able to find the touchline. Now Weber back into the pocket. McKenzie this time. We'll put the boot to ball. Mo'unga chases after it, takes it nicely. Now sitting 35 out from his line. He will return fire with a boot of his own. It's close to the touchline. Well fielded by Ioane. Now McKenzie runs it outside of the 22. Returns it back down into the hands of Reese. Gives it across to Harvili. Long boot on him. Going deep into the 22 now. Sean Stevenson takes it. Might have stepped on the line. This one does go into touch. It's a great kick from Stevenson there. Chiefs need to tackle hard, says Ed. Big Chiefs to win in my tipping and don't sleep, says Dean. And also, hey, come on, Irish, it's still early. You guys saw the yawn? I tried to hide it, but it didn't work, did it? That's the thing. I am going to have a lot of yawns happening tomorrow. And in fact, the next morning after that as well. I'll try and avoid doing too many of them on the stream. That's going to be the change now. Aidan Ross making his way off the field. I believe that will be for Ollie Norris and also Summer Penny Finau making his way out onto the park. And also say his days are almost over, probably tonight, says Spider Mick. And also, who do you pick for the Six Nations? I think Ireland have really got a good chance. unless something drastic happens and they either blow it up against Italy or England manage to cause that upset. Hey, bro, I'm back, says Andres. Welcome back, mate. Sean Stevenson takes it just outside of the 22. Damien McKenzie returning fire. It looks like it's not as slippery as it was at the start of the game, though. Now, Havili kicks it back. I can already see the comments that someone will do like a highlight package of this kicking back and forth. It will be someone from the Northern Hemisphere and be like, hey, you guys gave us a bit of stick for kicking, and now look what you're doing. I can see it already. It's going to happen. Show the game, says Richard. We are unable to show the game due to licensing. We haven't got the license to be able to show the match footage, but Sky Sport and Stan Sport both do. So I highly recommend checking one of those out, although both of them you do have to pay for. There are no free options to be able to watch Super Rugby, unfortunately. Now it's going to be Sean Stevenson charging forward, taken down by Leicester, Whaiananuku on the halfway line. Now Weber going off to the left-hand side, Sam Kane, Alex Nankerville. Oh, there's a Nazi Williams there as well. Now Luke Jacobson. Weber to McKenzie. He's kicking again. Okay, thanks, says Richard. And also true that the roles are reversed, although I think they're only reversed because of the wet conditions. I think as soon as they get some dry conditions, these two sides are definitely going to start going a little bit more with the running attack. And also, like Craig says, it's the first game of the season. You're going to try and feel out what your opposition are going to be doing. Willie Hines goes off to Blackadder. Hit hard in the spine. That's an interception throw. Ramika Poihipi does manage to clean it up. And now Ollie Norris, in fact, sorry, it's George Dyer has to play halfback. McKenzie going across to Nankerville. He's gone for the kick in behind. He's seen Scott Barrett doing it earlier in the day. Reese, did he? Oh, he slipped twice there, Sever Reese. I think he might have put that ball down inside of his own in-goal area. And I believe that they might end up checking this one after the ball is kicked into touch. I will pick England to win the Six Nations. Oh, it's after Waratahs and Brumbies game. Hamish going straight to bed? No, won't be able to. I've still got to do quite a few of the thumbnails for tomorrow. And also, I'm going to be editing a Samoa Sevens preview. So more than likely, I'll get to bed at about 3 a.m. Then from there, I will end up waking up at about 10:30, getting up going up the road to cricket. Might have gotten very lucky there, Reese. By the sounds of it, they have confirmed it tomorrow, 18 hours of rugby. Says Nate there, why have you not been calling me on Discord, says Sam Henry. I don't really call anyone on Discord, to be honest, Sam Henry. Not many anyway. Can't remember the last time I called someone on Discord. Now Luke Jacobson going back across, but more than likely the times that you've been trying to ring, I've probably been flat out doing either thumbnails, getting live stream sorted, or editing, more than likely. So normally those are things that you can't really do on a call too easily. It's normally better to do them off them. Currently sitting 23 and a half minutes left in the match. The Chiefs have now got themselves the line out 40 meters out from the line. It's going to be Taukeiaho once again. Now, they got Bradley Slater as a replacement, although he can also play in the loose forward trio. So depending on whether or not they decide that they want a replacement hooker or whether they go with another loose forward, maybe they take out Luke Jacobson as an option. But also, we have got there what I see, the Super Rugby Tibble. The ball? No, the bill. No, not sure. Not sure what that last part is. Ian? Our advantage still in play for the Chiefs. Goes to Retallick. He scored the first try of the season for the Chiefs, and Sam Kane actually getting himself the second now. Nice offload up. Here comes Nankerville. Inside ball. Back to Alex Nankerville. Taken down. Couple meters out for the line. Right. This is a perfect attacking opportunity for Samasoni Taukeiaho. He's been sat down. Now Weber going wide. McKenzie considered attacking the line. Wasn't able to go through it. Ramika Poihipi now taken down. And Reese not able to get the turnover there as well. Now big shot on Sama Penny Finau by, I think it was actually Ethan Blackadder there. Getting up a little bit slower now. Taukeiaho again. Going to be the advantage. Now a pass. No, it's going to be loose. No advantage going back for the offside. And who's 5 hours of sleep, boss, says Nate. And yeah, I might be able to squeeze a little bit more anyway. I'll just stick on some quiet music in the background or something, end up cooking some food at some stage. I think the table was meant to be table. Ah, I see. And they all went blue the Highlanders, but yet again, the Highlanders have quite a bad season last year, says Sam Henry. I mean, the Highlanders in pre-season, they were probably one of the shakier New Zealand sides. Okay, by the sounds of it, 6 Reb might have done foul play. That was Ethan Blackadder. I mentioned how he put in a big hit. Was it a legal one, though? That's the question. Right. So he charges forward to Sama Penny-Finau. Shoulder to the head, but it's, they're probably going to give a yellow card for this. Just not quite ducking low enough. Now, Sama Penny-Finau did have his head down, but Blackadder, he's got to make more of an attempt to wrap on that far side, I think. So I think that's going to end up. He looks straight at the ref as well, so maybe he knew that he caught him a little bit high. What's the strategy here? Hamish says, Ed. Well, it's going to be a man disadvantage for the Crusaders here. Now, this is a big moment because, yep, like they're just saying, the TMO has 8 minutes. If he feels that it is worse than a yellow card, he can upgrade it to a red. Okay. So Ethan Blackadder now for the next 8 minutes. He is possibly going to end up being upgraded to a red, but probably not. The girl from Ipanema is great elevator music, says Stephen. I've never heard of it. Now, who's got the link, says Ruben. Sky Sport now, Sky Go, or Stan Sport, your best bet, but they are all paid services. You can catch the highlights on the Super Rugby YouTube channel straight after the game, though. That could be a good option. Did you get your census papers today? It's the first time I have to do a dwelling form as well as an individual form. I don't think we get mail today. We're only on a 2-day mail system. Going to be missing the next game. Xavier, hope everything's all right for you. We have actually got a George joining us for the Waratahs versus Brumbies matchup. Right, they're going to take the tap and go by the looks of it. Brody Retallick. Is he going to throw himself at the line or are he going to give it off? No, he gives it off to Sama Penny-Finau. Nice set play there. It just misses the hands. Joshuani slaps it back down to Nankerville, who steps, and the Chiefs score again with the man advantage. That will now extend their lead to 9. I also got work as well, says Xavier. Crack Streams is a good streaming site, says Respout. Just make sure you don't get a virus because the cost of replacing your PC will be less than the cost of a Super Rugby like season pass. You know, but it's like the risk and reward, isn't it? Also, Aiden's not happy with that, and try got work. That's all. Xavier, and come on, the Chiefs, says Gavin. Good stuff, says Ed. It's very nicely done. I think there was Josh Ioane's hard work of tapping it back onto the side of the Chiefs rather than trying to get a miracle pickup, possibly getting tackled straight away. Yes, thank you, Chiefs. There's Tiariki, and at the moment, they are certainly putting together what could be a very good first matchup here. They just need to make sure, I would say they need to score again, to be honest. Yes, we're 20 minutes left, and the Crusaders are 1 man down, but the Crusaders are the type of side who can score 2 tries just like that. They definitely need another one. Kenzie smiling at the posts, hoping that one day they might smile back. Kick's gone over. That'll make the score 21 points to 10. And also we have got their Yahoo Go Chiefs. Told you Satyrs' day is over, says Spider Mech. Although once they start winning, normally the people who say that the Satyrs' time's over go, oh, no, Satyrs are going to win again. So it's still very early, of course. And you think your Chiefs can come on. Dean Mack and Crusaders can come easily come back. There's no doubt about it. Says it was a Mr. Lachlan. So Gallagher making his way out onto the field. That is for Mitchell Dunshane. Now Brody Retallick just out from their own 22 here, the Chiefs. Weber back into the pocket. And yes, at least one more try to be safe from the Satyrs. Says Tiariki. And I should mention, one more try for the Chiefs would actually sit them in a bonus point position. up against the Crusaders. Alex Nankerville going down, gets back up, goes again. Thought about the offload. It's going to travel forward. Or has it? No, Ben O'Keefe says it's fine, and the crowd are not happy about that one. Now, Weber going back to Damian McKenzie, now first receiver. It's like he is still lurking in that fly half roll with maybe Josh Ioane swapping in between 10 and 12. And also, does Crusaders have a yellow card? They do. It was Ethan Blackadder, number 6, was taken off the field for the foul play. So they've got about 6 minutes longer that they can still review that yellow card, see if it's worth upgrading to a red. More than likely they won't, though. I don't think it was a red card offence for Blackadder. Ramika Poihipi are trying to go through. Not able to find that gap, though. Damian McKenzie now passing back to Pavai. Great sell of the dummy. And he's going through now. Pavai didn't look like at any stage he was going to pass that ball, but it goes to the penalty to the Crusaders. Oh, they get bonus points for C. How far are we in the second half? We are currently 62 minutes through, so only another 18 minutes to go in this matchup. And also, Blues or Crusaders are going to win again. Not you, Blues. Here's Mr. Lachlan. And also, it's on the screen. Says it was Blues, Nathan, also England, Baz Ball in New Zealand in the second test, as well, scoring 315 and 65 overs. They are indeed. Nice kick downfield from Richie Moonga. Vai, brilliant run there. Breaking through 2 tackles, Bauer and Christie. Havili had to make it, and tell you what, Scott Barrett really slammed down hard on the back. Right, Cortez Ratama now making his way out onto the field. That is for Brad Weber. We've also now seen, I believe, Ollie Norris is out there on the park. In fact, he may have already actually been out there. Now Natai Akoi makes his way onto the field as well. To win against a back-to-back champion is to outsmart them. Advantage is only 30%. You need to sneak like a thief. Thief, I should say. Thief, that's better. Willie Hines. Like I said, 36 years of age. He's still going well. And that, I don't think, makes him the oldest Crusaders player. How old's Sam Whitelock? He's right up that around that age as well, isn't he? Now Bauer. Crusaders back in position now with 17 minutes remaining. Moonga. Short ball from Tamaiti Williams. Finds Havili. It's been everywhere in this Crusaders backline at the moment. Christian Leo Willie now with another carry. To the right-hand side, Moonga goes to Christie. Tackled by the newly on the field. Who's the number 18 for the Chiefs? Who'd they go with in the end? I can't remember off the top of my head. And top 4 this year will be first Crusaders, second Chiefs, third Blues, fourth Brumbies. And actually, Hurricanes could finish 4th, definitely 4th or 5th. There's Mr. Lachlan. Nice wide pass. Lester Whaiananuku runs straight at Damian McKenzie, who's able to make the challenge. Now Goodhue goes to McAllister. Crusaders, they don't look like they're in a hurry at the moment. They're just willing to take those phases on, try and wear down the Chiefs. Nice run from Christie. Bounced out the back. Willie Hines with a bit of skill flicks it out the back. Now again, it will be Zach Gallagher. He had a good season of the Bunnings NBC recently. Might find himself with some more game time throughout this season for the Crusaders. Whaiananuku. That is about the 4th time we've seen a grubber attempted. That one failed badly. And now the Chiefs, he looked for the offload. Now it's gone up to Braden Enor, who takes it back for the Crusaders. Lester Whaiananuku getting extremely lucky with that one. That ball's gone up. Great take from Josh Ioane. Havili has stayed down just for now, which does mean they will be able to have the man, or in fact, they've seen that there's no one in behind. McKenzie tried to go for the kick. Reese has taken it. He's decided against the mark, so he does have to boot this one. The spiral punt downfield. Stevenson gets it 40 meters out from the Chiefs line. Game's very seesaw at the moment. Both sides waiting for that opportunity to strike. Like I mentioned, the Chiefs, they have got themselves almost into a position of receiving a bonus point. And also, are we going to see our first upset of the weekend? Says Yanri now. There's a good chance because at the moment they're under advantage, a new advantage. 40 meters out. Lewis Coombs failing. In fact, it was Liam, sorry. It's gone down off his kick and it's going back for the advantage. Come on, geez, one more try and put the Sliders on sleeper hold, says Spider-Mick. Well, there's some players looking tired. Richie Moong got a bleeding nose. Sean Stevenson stretching out the cramp at the top of the field. Sounds like McKenzie wants to take on the 3, or does he? Looks like they're going for the jugular. They want to get this one. No, he is taking on the 3. Never mind. I got all excited. I thought they were going to go for the corner. Sam Cane also bleeding. You know that Sam Cane's had a good game when he bleeds, which is often. Come on, boys, says Tian. Crusaders under the pump, no doubt, and Crusaders have absolutely nothing, says Marco Kelly. Hopefully we'll see Will Jordan next week. Yeah, hopefully he's not too far away. Will Jordan. It's like Fergus Burke warming up. And they've also got Macca Springer. What a game to come into as a youngster, that everything you do could affect the game. Kenzie now taking a step back. 42 meters out on the angle, I'd say somewhere around there for DMAC. He's had the best kicking day, only sitting about 3 from 5, I believe. This one is an important one, and I feel like in those pressure moments, he might have that little bit more success. It's looking decent, might just sneak in the right-hand side, and it does. So now it makes the score 24 points to 10 in favor of the Chiefs. Macca Springer got talent, this kid. He does. I'm excited to see what he can do. He probably... Oh, okay. Fergus Burke going on for Braden Enor. Zach Gallagher going to be coming off the field. And Bradley Slater going on for Samasoni Tokiaho for the Chiefs. So Macca Springer, I feel like it's going to be a Perofeta scenario, how they give him like 40 seconds at the end. But who do you replace in that backline? That's the really tough part for the Crusaders. You'd say that Enor's probably the guy that you can replace. Like then with Macca Springer, do you replace someone like a Whainā Nuku who's got that size that might help you near the end of a game? That one's kicked out on the full by Richie Moonga. Oh, okay. They've just answered my question. They've actually decided to take Goodhue off and replace him with Macca Springer. So getting rid of both of their midfielders. Can't believe my Bo Triple T wasn't called into the Chiefs for this game, says Daniel Cox. Just go into touch. Or Richie Moonga. Also, we have got there, hit the red ball of these, or mix them both, and let's go Chiefs, says Tia Riki. D-Mac smile, says Nate. Right, 12 minutes remaining. Still that yellow card in play. The TMO have decided not to go upstairs and upgrade it, which I guess is a good sign. I've just said that there may have only been 3 scrums in this matchup, and my Chiefs are looking good. Here's Builder McLeod, but now they've got themselves a scrum beat on the halfway line. Cortez Ratama about to feed the ball in the Waikato. Representative in the Bunnings EBC, massive push there. They don't get themselves the advantage, but now Josh Ioane, first receiver, sells the dummy inside ball to Cortez Ratama. He's got speed, the youngster, and he's going to score it between the sticks. And the Chiefs now in a position to have a bonus point on the board, perhaps. And that might just seal the deal. I think it's going to be too little too late for the Crusaders now with only 11 minutes left on the clock. Cortez Ratama does score the try. Beautiful inside ball from Josh Ioane, though. He's going to get quite a bit of credit. And a big fend off from Cortez Ratama. He fended off none other than Lester Whainā Nuku. Man who weighs probably 1.5 Cortez Ratama. Gets him in the chest, fends him away, and scores the try for the Chiefs. A big Chiefs to win 13 plus. Says Tiarek, and DMAC is back, and never thought I'd see the Chiefs making the Status go 0-1. Oh, sorry, yeah, 0-1. Do they want to check this? What are we checking? What's wrong, Ben? Ben, of course, the name of the referee. No, it's good. I've said it is fine, and that kick's gone over. Go Chiefs, yes, says Reed. And this scoreline looking very, very good. Always rated Josh, says Gabe Grace. And also we have got there, can't see the live. While I wait for the highlights, says Mohammed. So yeah, the highlights will be up on the Super Rugby YouTube channel pretty much straight after the game is finished. And there's some good tries being scored. And yes, Mr. Builder, Chiefs means business this year. And a bit late in the year now, I reckon DMAC could have made a good transition into NRL as a fullback or a winger. There's Nazi Williams. That's going to be slapped back onto the side of the Chiefs. Now, the thing that they will want here to stop the Crusaders from scoring. Because the reason I say that, it's not so much for the whole scheme of the match. Like, they've won at this point, you'd have to say. But the big thing is that bonus point. Bonus point with a 3 or more try advantage over your opposition. That's what the Chiefs may be able to take from the Crusaders, which is something we may not see any other side do throughout the season. Now, McKenzie kicks it towards the touchline. On to Richie Moonga. Hasn't found the touchline. Where's Macca Springer? Give him a crack. Where's he at? He's hiding at the moment. We can't see him, but it's going to be Zach Gallagher. Help him push. 40 metres out for the line. Now, fine, Anuku. Here's Macca Springer. He's got no space whatsoever. D-Mac makes the tackle on him. Now, Tom Christie sells the dummy. Crusaders, they will know that they are down by 3 tries. I wouldn't call this an upset, Yanri. Chiefs winning before the game. Says Gareth, the ball's going to be lost now. The Chiefs taking it back. Nice pass from Nankerville. Kicked in behind by Liam. Coombs fabling, slowly drifting. Fergus Burke has to grab this one. 5 out from his line and just has no option but to kick it into touch. And bloody hell, the Chiefs have ruined the Crusaders, says Sebastian. And 6 in a row, Satyrs don't suck. Stats say otherwise, like a thief in the night. And 66% thought the Crusaders would win, says Sam Henry. Probably for fair reason. They won the last competition. I feel like the poll is one of those ones that it can be very, I guess, individual opinion-wise, but that's probably about what the TAB had them at the start of the match as well. And I don't think many people were predicting the Chiefs to win by 21 points. You know? Now 42 minutes out, 42 meters out. Josh Ioane, wide cutout pass, almost stolen by Macca Springer, dropped by Damian McKenzie, but they go back for the original knock-on from Springer. It will now be the scrum. This will use up more time, and attitude will change. The Crusaders meet us at the finals, says Nate. Very true. And won't be the first time the Crusaders lose this season, says Amelia. And likes the video, says Mark. And go the Chiefs, says Pads ablaze. And Blues all day, but only a forward count the Crusaders out, says Nazi Williams. So let's be real. We all love seeing the Crusaders lose, says Xavier. I'll be able to ask George when he comes around for the next live stream. He'll be joining me for Waratahs versus Brumbies. He's a Crusaders supporter. Well, Jordan has made or has been the big difference. Most games, a long season, says Stuart there. Yeah, I don't think we can, no one can write out the Crusaders as of yet. One game, they get through to the top 8, it's danger time. I only predicted Chiefs to win by 1 to 2 tries, says Ed. See, I went Crusaders by 7, but if the Chiefs were going to win, I was only going to say they win it by about 5. Just because I assumed it would be a close game that went down to the wire. I almost sent Isaac to this game. I almost got him tickets. So it's probably lucky I didn't, because he is also a Crusader supporter. And to send him to a game that they might lose by a bonus point might not have been great. But free tickets, so maybe, Now, Cortez Ratama, that one hasn't gone out the scrum the way that they would have liked. Now the Crusaders, they will have themselves the penalty. And it would be disappointing for the Chiefs to miss out on that 3 or more try bonus point, just because of how well they have played in this matchup. Definitely second half. You look at the score, 10 points to 7 at half time. From there, we have seen 25. That's a lie. We have seen 24 unanswered points scored by the Chiefs. I'm a Chiefs and surprised by the result. I was hoping for a win, and surely you put your Chiefs jersey when George comes around, says Xavier. He might smash something over my head. Might not be a good idea. Now 25 meters out from the line. Mitchell Dunshay actually has to play halfback here. You don't see too often. Rough pass. You can understand why he's not a halfback. The mighty Williams has done very well. Get his hands on the ball. I think that might end up being a penalty to the Crusaders due to the player being in the breakdown in the wrong place. Now going to be passed off. Richie Moonga goes to Macca Springer, tackled by Alex Nankerville. Still 4.5 minutes left on first match of Super Rugby. Summer Penny Finau loses his footing. Stefan Nuku loses the ball. It drops it cold. And Dublin Train commuters wondering why I'm fist bumping Chiefs all season, brothers, says Daryl there. I was like, lol. Says Nazi Williams. Now it is going to be McKenzie going across the Rameka Poyip. He tries the grubber. No surprises for about the sixth time in this match. A grubber kick has not worked. I don't think anyone's pulled one off yet. Could be wrong in saying that, but I don't think one's stuck. Had Chiefs by 5 in my Super Brew. Says none of the Chiefs were threatening to click last year. I'm reckoning this year is their year of Chiefs and the Blues in the final. Going to be a penalty to the Chiefs again. 21 red advancing a little bit too quickly. That was Willie Hines. Anyone who is just tuning in, this scoreboard, it is correct. 31 points for the Chiefs, 10 for the Crusaders. Crusaders, they scored early. The try of David Havili. Then from there, we saw the try of Brodie Retallick. Also a yellow card for both sides. Sam Cane and Ethan Blackadder both receiving one. And then in the second half, we've just seen the Chiefs turn it up to the next level, which is exactly what they needed to do. Always had this question, what if the Crusaders perform poorly this season? Will Razor still be considered the superstar coach he is? Because only time will tell. Sport is brutal, says Saran. It is. At the end of the day, when you're a winning coach, people always say, let's sign him. When you're a losing coach, people say, we want him gone and we don't want him back. Just look at Ian Foster. It's a perfect example. While the Staters only play for pride, the night is over. Says Spider-Mick, hi, says Kyron. Welcome in, mate. All you Kiwis in the chat are sleeping on the tars. Watch out for them, says Xavier Brown. And why do I feel like Super Rugby is going to be better this year, says Amelia. Because the Crusaders are going to lose their first game. I mean, it would be great to see a competition winner that wasn't the Crusaders. Of course, that'll annoy Crusader supporters, but you got to admit, like, overall for the competition to have different winners just helps the competition grow even more. Nice wide pass from Josh Ioane. Just Sean Stevenson. Look for the offload. It's going to be cleaned up by Burke, but that's gone backwards. Stevenson just keeps it in the field of play. Another offload to Brodie Retallick. And I've said that they've knocked it on. My plans for the weekend movie, Super Rugby repeat, says Amelia. I think the Chiefs might just win this game. I think you're right, Nov Mum. I think they've got a good crack here. I don't think the Chiefs has a squad depth to make it to the finals, but maybe semis or quarterfinals, says Sam Henry. And because the Satyrs play in the Highlanders next week, and I'm looking forward to that game, says Amelia. That's going to be a good one. The Super Round, of course, taking place in Melbourne. Now, scrum feed again. This is using up time on the clock. And the Satyrs, to get themselves back into this contest a little bit, more importantly, to take away the bonus point that the Chiefs currently have for themselves, they will need to go 90 meters. And also, Chiefs versus Blues final, it would be cool, but possible, says Nazi Williams. Now, Willie Hines about to feed the ball, and I'm going all 3 days. And because the Satyrs playing the Highlanders next week, and I'm looking forward to that game. Says Amelia. And well, are we so surprised that the Crusaders lost? Says Jan Renel. Cross kick attempted. Nicely taken by Macca Springer. Keeps the ball alive, and they're going back for another penalty. I mean, the thing is, are we surprised that the Chiefs have won? No. Not hugely. Are we surprised that the Chiefs have won by 21? Yeah. Like, a lot of people would have been predicting that's mistouch again from the Crusaders. Just not their night, it doesn't seem. Which is beneficial for the Chiefs because they will get another attacking opportunity. Alex Nankerville trying to go through, tackled low by Havili. Orders a tackle. They do have to release him. Now Sam Cane backs himself to go around the side of the breakdown. Summer Penny Finau considered the offload, couldn't quite get the hands free, but the tackle's made. We're seeing Crusaders make 192 compared to the 139 that we've seen from the Chiefs. Ratama goes to Ioane. Nice quick hands. Alex Nankerville ball on the outside now, kicked him behind by Liam. Cooves Fabling. What a surprise. The grubber almost worked on from the Crusaders. 50 seconds left on the clock. A lot can happen to a team in a year. And also wear the Chiefs jersey and headgear. I don't have the headgear. I do have the kit, though. I don't like the new Super Rugby trophy. It's the old one in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. The Chiefs Type 5 have outplayed the Satyrs today. Not something that happens very often. The game management at 10 and 12 has been better. Chiefs' problem for the season going to be depth. There's Gareth. Day 1, we my Rebels gear 2. Rebels gear, day 2 and 3. I'm aware Wallabies gear. Even as a Chiefs fan, I'm surprised by the scoreline. I'd expect it to be a lot closer, says Nov Mum. Yeah, I think the Chiefs have just played very, very well. And like Gareth mentioned, they've managed the game very well also. Now trying to find the offload does give it to Com Christie. Now this could be a big mistake here because the Crusaders are now going to have one last attacking opportunity, and it's going to be Macca Springer ball on the outside to Fergus Burke. Tries to flick it back in. They're put it into touch, and that will be the end of the game. A bonus point win for the Chiefs to start their Super Rugby Pacific 2023 season. Hamish, how's it, buddy? I just managed to get online, and I'm very surprised and heartened by this score. Also, we have got their morning from Yako. Welcome in. What's the score? Says Tia Ricky. It is the end score 31 points to 10. The bonus point going the way of the Chiefs. I predicted from the beginning that the Chiefs by 20. As well, says Maidami. Whatever you say. And great statement by the Chiefs, says the Coots. And also, preseason may not been such a waste of time, really, says Yari now. And Chiefs outsmarted Crusaders might be the highlight of the game this weekend, says Ed Vogel. And yeah, we've still got one more game tonight. And it's actually supposed to be a little bit closer in this game, and that is Waratahs versus Brumbies. On the TAB odds, they're pretty much neck and neck, but the Brumbies come in as slight favourites. They're on the road, though. That could end up changing things a little bit. Yeah, the Chiefs awesome commentary, says Stuart. I appreciate you being here, mate. Your awesome commentary again, says Nazi Williams. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next live stream will be starting at 9:30 p.m., which is in about 40 minutes' time. It's going to be myself. I'm going to have George with me, which does mean every once in a while he may end up swearing. So I apologize in advance for that. I love the start of the Super Rugby Pacific again, who's the Chiefs coach. I believe they've still got Clayton McMillan, if I'm not wrong. Which I could be, but I think that is who is coaching them this year. And go the box, says Anthony. And I was not bad boss. Game finished 2 minutes earlier, says Blues Nate. Also, we have got there, say Amelia, says Teriki. And also, we have got there McMillan, says Nate. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be back with plenty more Super Rugby, Six Nations, URC, Sevens, all sorts, all happening on the channel. But we will be back in 40 minutes' time for the next live stream. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.